Welcome to another episode of Raven Conversations. I'm Joe C. Mandel, State Public Affairs Officer for the Washington National Guard. Today I'm joined by Corporal Matthew Solis. He worked at the 156 Information Operations Battalion.
That's correct.
You're a pharmacy tech, though, and we can kind of dive into that.
Yeah.
But you're actually part of the All-Army soccer team, and you play soccer at JBLM as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to kind of tell us about how you ended up there and kind of where that's taken you. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, just a quick background on yourself.
So quick something about myself is I'm Corporal Matthew Solis, as you stated. I've been playing soccer for a long time, and I'm just happy to play for the Guard and play for the Army, and that's basically it about me.
So what led you to join the Guard?
So joining the Guard, basically educational reasons. I joined because I wanted to further my education, and I already have some college, but I'm looking to finish my degree, and that's kind of why I joined. Anywhere
specific degree-wise? Any college specifically?
Yeah, so I joined, healthcare. I'm looking at healthcare management. I'm almost done, actually. I finished this year in November, my bachelor's.
Where at?
University of Washington.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, quite a few, I think, in healthcare, it's always, when we ask them, they're like, hey, University of Washington.
Yes.
So it always sounds like that's where they go.
Yes, definitely.
So you're part of the All-Army soccer team.
Mm-hmm.
And you play on JBLM. Kind of explain that. I mean, talk about your soccer background and what led you to that.
So I've been playing soccer for as long as I can remember. I've been playing through, middle school, high school. That's when I really started noticing that, I was really good. I was the first freshman to start on the varsity team. I got all region, all district, all state. But I come from a military background. I'm an Army brat. My dad was in the military. So kind of got bounced around, and and family's been my stability. So when my dad got stationed at JBLM, I've been here since 2012. Mm-hmm. But that's when I started. I went to college first, played at Pierce College locally. Okay. Then I went to Trinity Lutheran up in Everett at a NAIA school. And then after that, once I joined, I stayed here on JBLM. So that's when I got involved with the JBLM FC team. Mm-hmm. And from there, it just kind of led up to playing in tournaments with them and then getting involved with All-Army soccer. And, so that's kind of how it happened.
Did you have to go through like a selection process to get on the All-Army team?
Yes. So selection starts first with the local team, JBLM. The coaches select you. If you're good enough to play for them, they'll tell you yes or no. And then from there, it kind of goes into playing major tournaments with the team. Mm-hmm. And so a major tournament that's coming up that I'm about to go to is the Regional Commanders Cup. And that's in Utah. And then the main one is in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. It's called the Defenders Cup. It's involving 40 teams from basically, it's all comprised of bases, military members. Yeah. And we all play together in this tournament, big tournament, and that's kind of where you get scouted. And once you get scouted and you're good enough for the base team, then you kind of get asked about trying to join the All-Army soccer team.
Yeah, so with the All-Army team, kind of talk about that. Like, mm-hmm. What's that been like? Are you guys traveling to play? What is that really?
So the All-Army soccer team, once you get selected, you make the All-Army soccer camp. And camp usually held at Fort Hood. So you get called, you're going to Fort Hood, and then there's a 3-week trial period. So even if you make camp, you're not on the team yet. So there's usually about 30 to 40 players that get called, and every week there's cuts. Mm-hmm. And then so once you make it to the final cuts, you make the final 18 roster. And then you travel to wherever it's being held at. So this year it was held at Camp Pendleton in the Marine base. Mm-hmm. And then you play against the best of the Navy, the Marines, and the Air Force.
Okay. So when you're going through that cut process, like how nervous is it, right? I mean, you're there with the best of the best.
Yes.
Was there ever a point where you were kind of like, oh my gosh, like I'm not good enough to be here, and yet you're still here?
Yeah, so there was a time, actually. I was kind of nervous at the very last cuts because, there's a lot of great competition in the Army. There's people who have played professional, played at West Pointers coming. There's people who played college and all types of backgrounds. There was a kid on our team, he came from the Haitian national team or something like that. And so there's many great players there, and it's definitely a battle, and it's definitely tough to compete against all these great players. And yeah, so the very last cuts, I was kind of worried. I was hoping I wouldn't get cut, and luckily I made it. So yeah.
So when you go to drill, because you're still a drilling guardsman too.
That's right.
What do people, when they ask, oh, what'd you do during the month, and you bring up like you're on the All Army soccer team, what is kind of their reaction?
Well, they're pretty surprised that I'm doing that and that I'm able to do that, because I don't think many people know that you can do it when you're in the guard, because most of the time it's active duty personnel that get called up. So they're pretty ecstatic about it, that I'm able to do something like this.
Yeah. I mean, what's kind of the next steps? I mean, you'll do all Army soccer probably for a little while, but is there another step you want to go to in playing soccer?
So, well, the All Army soccer process, it's every year. So even if I make it 1 year, I don't know if I can make it the next year. I have to keep playing. So my next steps are just keep continuing to make the team, keep participating in these tournaments. And then one of my biggest goals is to try and make the all armed forces team. It's basically like a USA team for the military, and you basically play other military countries.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
okay.
So it's kind of like a World Cup, but for the military.
Oh
so
wow!
That's one of my big goals, and I'm just trying to play at the highest levels I can. And luckily, I play at in the UPSL. It's like 4th division in the United States. So I'm just trying to keep up that level as long as I can, and
be kind of like the National League on the UK circuit where Wrexham is now at.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
I know very little about football, except for what Wrexham and Ted Lasso have taught me. So
right, they're very good at promoting the soccer, and I'm glad, because it's definitely helping the USA kind of understand more about it and what's going on.
Growing up, obviously, you're into it. Any teams you like to follow? Any players you like to follow?
Yes. Obviously, I love Messi. Messi's been my favorite player for as long as I can remember. He's best in the world. And but I've always been following Manchester City. They play in England, and they play the Champions League in about this weekend, actually. This coming up weekend. So I'm rooting for them. First one.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I always give people the opportunity. If there's a kid at home who he's into soccer and he's like, hey, I'm really good and I want to keep going.
Yeah.
But how do they get to where you're at?
It's just practice and hard work. It's just something you have to keep doing as much as you can. It's tough, because sometimes you don't want to wake up on the weekends and go to your games, or you don't want to go to practice. You're tired, whatever. But it's just continue to do it. You just got to keep doing it. And I even now, sometimes when I have time during the day, I'll try and go play, because I know if I can do that on my own, then I can still compete with some people who, maybe don't play as much or don't practice as much, and I can get that edge.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
No, not really. I'm just glad to be in this unit. They're very supportive, the 156 IOB. And I have a great support around me, my family. I'm just glad I have the support that I have to help me do these things, because being on the All Army team, I was gone for a month, and I do have kids, so my wife was watching them, and I'm just thankful for her. And then my coach always pushing me, always telling me I need to go practice, I need to do this stuff, or he's always trying to throw stuff at me like, oh, there's some guys here that might be better than you, and it makes me want to, go push myself, go practice, because, if I don't, then I might not make the team, I might not do something, So,
No, I appreciate you joining us.
Yeah.
If you're interested in learning more about the All Army soccer team, we can definitely put the info in the notes. If you like the video, give us a like, comment, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more, and I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much.